Hey guys, this is Hardin from Red5Fitness, and today I'm going to be going over the most important exercise you're ever going to do in any sort of workout program, period. The barbell back squat. Now if you go into any sort of gym, you're going to find that 98% of the time you see very, very incorrect technique. It's unsafe, and people just aren't getting the most out of it. So we're going to go over the proper technique for the barbell back squat. Before we do that, we're going to go over the proper technique for the body weight air squat. So the air squat is the building block for all the other squats. So if you can master the air squat, it's going to be really, really easy to pick up the barbell back squat from here. First thing that you want to do is find a proper squat stance. It's about shoulder width apart. Right? You don't want to be too narrow, because that's going to cause impingements and eventually problems in our hips. So you want to come at least shoulder width apart. Some people like to go a little bit wider, but let's stay shoulder width for right now. Now the first movement that we're going to do is going to be from the hips. You always want to move from the largest joint first. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to move from the hips, and that first movement is going to be hips back. Hips back. Now you see a lot of people, they like to move the hips straight down. And what that does is it forces the knees to move first, and the knees are going to come out forward. So if my hips come straight down, that's not an efficient squat. So hips are always going to be back. Squat stance, hips back. First two things. Next thing, we want to keep that chest up as high as we possibly can. And when we have no barbell and just our body, we can bring our arms up as we go down to help us keep that chest up nice and high. Squat stance, hips back, chest up. This is going to be a much better squat than this here. All right, chest up. The next movement is we're always going to drive the knees out. Now you see a lot of people, they squat with their toes straight forward. That's how I squat. You also need the flexibility to squat like that. If you don't, if you feel a little bit uncomfortable with your toes directly forward, you can turn them out slightly. I would say 10 to 15 degrees. If that's a comfortable squat position for you, then use that. As we go down, we're going to drive the knees out. So it's not going to look like this, but instead, it's going to look like this. What that does is it stretches out our adductors, these inner thigh muscles. It's going to help to work those a lot harder. Also, it's going to create more space for our pelvis to sit through our legs, because eventually we're going to go below parallel, and that's what we're going to do next. So when we squat, squat stance, hips back, chest up, knees out. Now we're going to go below parallel, but this is very, very important. You need to only go as deep as you can comfortably. If you don't have the flexibility to go below parallel with good technique, then just go down as far as you can comfortably. Technique is always going to be the most important thing. So if you can go below parallel, that's what we're going to do. Now, a lot of people don't understand why it's so important to go below parallel. Or when you go deeper like that, what you do is you catch that weight, your body weight, or the weight of a bar, or any sort of weight that you're squatting, you catch that weight with your hamstrings and with your glutes. When we only go these quarter squats, that's mostly quads. That's mostly these thigh muscles right here that are working. And they attach over your knee and down onto this bone right here. So if you're only going down a quarter of the way, you're stopping that weight by pulling on the top of that knee over and over and over and over again. And you also don't recruit the glutes and the hamstrings, and of course, that's what we're trying to work. So as we go down, we can catch that weight with our hamstrings and with our glutes, and we can also fire them again to bring us back up, and that's what we're ultimately trying to do. Much more efficient, much safer. The hamstrings, they come and they attach underneath of the knee, different parts on the lower leg here. So we get this equal pull from top and bottom with our quads and with our hamstrings, and long term your knees are going to say thank you for doing that. So hips back, chest up, knees out, below parallel. That's our air squat. When we move to a barbell back squat, it's the same exact performance points. Now we just have a bar that we're going to put on the upper part of our back. But before we get into that, you need to learn how to walk in and out of a rack. Here's our bar. You want to set this up a little bit below shoulder height. You don't want it too high where you have to go up on your tippy toes to get the bar out. You want to be able to get underneath of the bar in a slight squat, stand all the way up, and be able to walk out without clipping these cups here. So we're going to walk in, stand it up, take a 3-step drop. 1, 2, line it up, 3. Now we're good. And when we walk it back in, we're going to let the rack take the bar from us. 1, 2, 3. Now I can get out of underneath this weight. So the barbell back squat, again, the chest is going to be up, but now we can't bring our arms up as we go down because we have our hands on the bar. Our hand placement is going to be as close to our shoulders as we can comfortably. If you have shoulder flexibility issues, you're going to have to come out wider, and that's going to be a better position for you. If you come in too close, you're going to find that you start to develop some shoulder issues because this weight's really going to be pushing down on you. But if you have good flexibility, you can come in close, and we keep the elbows in tight to our body. One thing that's very, very important for all of weightlifting is big chest. You can hear me say that all the time. Big chest, right? Shoulders squeezed together. This is what it's going to look like. Elbows are squeezed together like this. My shoulder blades, if you're looking from the back, are going to squeeze together, back and down like this. Back and down. Now I can take this out. If everything is really tight in your upper body, then it's going to be very difficult for this weight to break you. And what I mean by that is this. You don't want to come into that position. The most important thing with weightlifting of any kind is going to be technique, technique, technique. You're going to go much farther, much stronger, much happier, much healthier, much safer in the long run if you focus on technique, technique, technique. Most important thing, technique. Second most important thing is being able to do proper technique over and over and over and over again. The last most important thing is the intensity, or how much weight we're using, or how hard you're pushing yourself. It's very important to push yourself, but it's much, much, much more important to do it with good technique. You will get hurt if you don't lift with good technique and you lift at a high intensity. So let's practice good technique. You'll find the first set that we have is 5 sets of 10. That's going to be 50 total reps. It's going to give you time to practice this movement. If you can do just air squats for 5 sets of 10, great. Practice everything that we just went over. If you can do just a barbell, even better. Practice perfect technique with this back squat. If you can add weight, keep going. But as soon as you start to lose the technique, you should drop the weight and use a weight that you can have good technique. Again, it's going to keep you safe. When we go below parallel with a barbell, hamstrings, glutes, lower back, these are all going to strengthen as much more than any other movement that you possibly can. The quads are going to develop as well. You're going to have nice, strong looking legs from this barbell back squat. Again, I'll show you one more time. This is our barbell back squat. I hope you enjoy.